Have you ever wanted to go play an open mic but you're not sure what to expect or what to prepare or how to even do it? Today that's what we're going to talk about. Alright, so first of all, what is an open mic? Well, basically an open mic is just a small, usually it's at a coffee shop or a bar, and it's just a small open venue where amateur performers can come and play and showcase their talent and just have some fun in front of a live audience and get some experience doing that. It's a lot of fun, and I really suggest it to new musicians and just anybody in general who's got some kind of a talent, whether it be stand-up comedy or singing or poetry or something. Just get out there and get in front of people. You're never going to get over that unless you actually just go do it. So I suggest it. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, if you've never done that before, there might be some things that you should know ahead of time and how to prepare and what to expect. So the first thing, my first suggestion, is to scope the place out ahead of time. If you've never been there before, if you've never done an open mic before, I highly suggest going the week before, or if they have it a couple times a week, go the previous day or something, and just check the place out and check the open mic out. See how it runs, see the process, see how many people show up, see the way it runs throughout the night, how sign-ups work, things like that, because you don't want to walk into it blind. And the other thing too is, if you've never been to that particular venue before, then the last thing you want to do is show up to an open mic that's kind of geared towards like a country western type of feel, but you show up prepared to play like Slayer or something. Like, that's probably not going to go over very well, and it's not going to be received well. So I suggest going ahead of time, going a week before or something, and just scoping the place out and just getting the general vibe of the place before you go. And number two, I would suggest bring people. Not 100 people, not a big audience, but just a few people, 2, 3, 4 people if you can. Just a small little entourage of respectful, polite people who are going to support you and support everybody else, and who understand it's not a competition. You're not there to outplay or outshine anybody else. You're just there to do your thing, support other local musicians and things like that, who are going to support the business that they're at, buy some drinks, buy nachos, coffee, or whatever, things like that, and who aren't going to be rude or disrespectful, and who can plan on staying the whole night. That's the other thing too. You don't want to show up, play, and then leave. Like, that's kind of rude. It's just bad form. It's disrespectful. You want to show and be there for a majority of the time. Make sure you bring a few people. It also puts a familiar face in the audience for you, and it just builds out the crowd a little bit for the other people that are there performing. It kind of makes it a more enjoyable experience. So bring some people. Brings me to number 3, and this is for people that have not gone out before, that have never done open mics before, and who have not played in front of people before. So I would suggest, at first, if you've never done this, I would suggest playing only covers at first. If you're going to go and you're going to play out in front of people and you're going to do an open mic, and you're making that like a commitment, you're going to do, I'm going to go do this twice a week or whatever. I used to do 3 or 4 or 5 a week, and just to get out in front of people and have fun and play, and it just built up my skill. It built up my stage presence. It works on a lot of things. So I would suggest at first only doing covers. Don't show up and play a bunch of original music. One, because that's really putting you in a very vulnerable position. You've got a lot of nerves going on. You've got a lot of anxiety about the whole process. You're nervous. You know this and that. And then on top of that, you're going to showcase a song that you wrote, lyrics that you wrote that might be deeply personal to you, and it's going to just overemphasize all of your nerves and everything that's going on, and it's just not going to make it a fun experience. So go play some covers that you don't care about. Just play some music that you can play well, but just covers that people can sing along to, that people know, that people like, that people already enjoy, and just have a good time. They typically give you, like, in my experience, it was always like 10 or 15 minutes, or 2 or 3 or 4 songs, whatever came first. So a lot of the times it was like 10 minutes or 3 songs, whatever came first. So go play 3 covers. Go play some stuff that people like and can enjoy, and kind of make it geared to the crowd. You know, like I said, you don't want to show up to a country western bar prepared to play, you know, Metallica or something. Like, it's not gonna go over well. So make sure you're prepared in that respect. Brings me to number 4. This is the kind of the most important one, I think, just because it a lot of people don't know this and they don't realize this when they're performing in front of a crowd. You're nervous, you're anxious, you're sweating, you're freaking out. You've practiced this song, you've done everything you can do, and now you finally get on the stage and you get in front of the microphone. And side note, if you've never sang into a microphone and you've never heard yourself like back to you, that's a whole other experience in and of itself. So the depending on the venue, depending on how their PA system is set up and things like that, there could be some things that might surprise you about the sound of your guitar or the sound of your voice, because you're not hearing your voice go out solely, you're hearing it go out, but then it's going to come back, and you're hearing your guitar go out, but then it's going to come back in your ears because of the acoustics in the room and the way the PA's set up. So there's going to be all kinds of things that are coming down on you, and you are naturally going to want to speed up. You're naturally going to want to rush it and get through it and move on and get the heck off stage, because inside, subconsciously, you're panicking. So just relax, slow down. That's where practice comes in. That's where making sure you're on point with all that, making sure that you don't have to think about the lyrics, making sure that you don't have to think about, you know, the way you're strumming or the way you're picking or things like that. You've got all that stuff down second nature, and now you can just casually, just relaxed, you know, play the song and just make sure you're conscious of slowing down and not rushing through it. Because if you rush through it, people will notice, and it's going to sound like you don't, like you're going to sound way nervous. You're going to be nervous anyway. That's just a given. But you don't want to put it on yourself even more. You don't want to have that even more, you know, emphasized. You want to have a good experience. And just take it as a learning experience. You know, however it goes, don't let the first time you play out in front of people in an open mic, you know, be the end all be all, be the, you know, the defining factor in the rest of your experience to go do open mics. Because once you get into the rhythm of it, and once you realize and you become comfortable and familiar with getting out in front of people, that's when you can really shine. That's when you start introducing your own music. That's when you start introducing the things that you're doing. Here, follow my page, check this out, blah, blah, blah. And you're gonna, because you've become comfortable and you've kind of settled into that groove, and you've kind of, you know, mastered the process. But just get it out first. Just get it out. Do, you know, play for a month and a half, 2 months, whatever it takes for you to just become comfortable in that setting. And then you can start showcasing that kind of stuff. But stick to covers and play slower than you naturally would, because like I said, you're naturally gonna wanna rush through it. So yeah. Anyway, that's my advice on how to prepare and things to expect at an open mic. Just a few quick little beginner tips. Another quick little bonus tip: have someone record you. If you're gonna bring 2 or 3 people, have someone shoot a video of you in the audience discreetly. Don't make a big spectacle of it, but just have someone record you. That way you can hear it, you can see it, and you can see what you look like on stage. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit like, please hit subscribe, please hit that little bell so you can make sure you get all the notifications of when I post new content. I look forward to seeing you and getting to know you in the comments. You can also find me on Twitter and on Facebook at Go Fret to Fret. I'll link those in the description of this video, and we will see you next time. Keep practicing. Bye.